the conversations were a bit strange. Do you remember the launch, the test ride of the AS200, the Bajaj?
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
How whenever you would refer to the Pulsar NS200 or something, it would be like, no, but this is the AS. You remember? Like Bajaj was so unwilling to compare this to the NS to the AS while they were effectively the same bike with different handlebars. It was a similar thing here. So whenever you ask, so how has the suspension tune changed from the Grand Vitara to this? But why are you comparing it to the Grand Vitara? It's a different car in its own right, right?
They just said that.
Yeah. So, and then when you'd say, okay, but the power figure for the hybrid system hasn't been stated in the brochure. So is it this? So what is the power figure? That's the same as the Grand Vitara. It was a very muddled conversation, and I think the idea to position it as a different product altogether was overriding everything. So having sensible conversations became very difficult. So everything was like you had to dance through loops of, oh, why are you comparing it to that? But it is this. So many things would come up in reference like that. For instance, while driving, the one thing that I felt distinctly straight away that made this feel different and better was the steering. Because the Grand Vitara in corners, you'd feel that the steering was vague and heavy. It wasn't a nice setup that way. Here, it feels lighter, it feels direct, it feels more engaging, engaging was not something I would have said for the Grand Vitara steering. Very steady, very predictable, but not engaging. Different. Now that is a nice feeling, right? So you want to know how it happens. Is the motor different? So you're like, can I now ask if the motor is different? So internal motor is different, tuning is different, all of those kind of things, right? So the conversations were...
So if you appreciated it, then they'll give you more detail. But if you don't like it, then it's not the same car, it's a different thing.
So it was really very confusing having a conversation around this. So...
doesn't sound like a very victorious presentation overall then. At least in terms of information.
To understand, for sure, it was not a great experience. And there were several things that I would say that felt improved and felt the right steps that needed to be taken. For instance, I started the day driving the strong hybrid. And that's been my favorite pick in the Grand Vitara lineup. And we've spent a lot of time in that car. In fact, the first MotorInc shoot that we ever went for was to Leh, and we were in that car and going up into the mountains at the end of September when roads, weather, everything, so many issues, and going in a two-wheel drive, we were so unsure. But that drive just showed us what that car was capable of. There's so much respect for what that car does, right?
And coming back down to Darcha in the night when... Kartikeya finally lost all patience and said, you know what, I'm just going to go fast. There's nobody here.
No, because there was the worry that it would snow again. We had been stuck on one side of the pass for 2 days. And we had been warned that get out of here before it. And it was like the skies had gone unbelievably grey. We had shot as late as we could and we had to get out before anything happened. So
so we crossed, I think, Baralashla at dusk. And then once the light went out, then Kartikeya's light went on. And he's like, I will show you Darcha. It's so fast, you won't believe it.
So we really learned a lot about that car and that drive, and massive respect. So that is the car I started driving with. And so the steering was one thing that immediately felt like a different experience. The one thing that I remember from that car, and even with later experiences here in Mumbai, was that the suspension could be noisy, especially at the rear, when you're going over bumps and stuff. While it is always very controlled and very poised, it didn't feel polished, right? Now in this car, the suspension doesn't feel noisy. So there was immediately a sense of, this is a more polished experience while retaining that ability, right? So to that, it was clarified that they are using some different mounts. The suspension tuning is a bit different. So all those kind of things. So it came out, but it came out in fits and starts here and there, the information.
So it was like pulling teeth.
It was like a mystery you're trying to solve.
Hey, I love it. Can you tell me why you did it? And okay, here. I didn't like that. What did you change? No, it's a new car. Right?
So, exterior, we're really going to skip through this one a lot. Or should I do it in any other way? Would you prefer?
No, we are okay. We are doing okay. So, since you're on the exterior, would it be correct for me to say that since I've sat with you on motoring first for the Swift, the Desire, and now the Victoris, Maruti is moving to squared off European exteriors? Because this is the third car in a row where you've said squared off, slightly European. In the Desire's case, it didn't go very well for the Desire because you said, is that an Audi? Almost. But are you seeing that there is now a more family-oriented in the sense, Maruti's cars are typically Maruti's cars, but can you connect the dots and say this is what makes it a Maruti car has always been super nebulous? Are you seeing a more...
I don't think you can still connect one to the other. Maybe in very, very small ways, but I can't still connect one to the other, say that this is, if you hit the badge, would you be able to say that they're from the same family? I don't think you can do that. Maybe between the Victoris and the Brezza, to some extent, you could do that. From the sides, especially. There is some sort of connection there. But other than that,
okay.
No. They're still, each one of them looks their own thing. And but at least it's cleaner. But there's a flip. So in the Grand Vitara, you could say that the face was the slightly awkward part and the tail was really good. I love those tail lamps. Here's the other way around. The face looks really good and the rear is strange.
The Maruti Suzuki Victoris is going to be available in a network that is 6 times grander than the one that the Grand Vitara goes to. If you'd like to know more about this, Kartikeya and I had a really long conversation on Motoring First. It's playing live on the app. It's always free to watch. And if you download the app, signing up for the app is absolutely free.